Welcome to the playoffs on TNT from the capital of California, Sacramento. And tonight, Game 3, Western Conference Semifinal. The defending world champion Los Angeles Lakers and the Sacramento Kings. The Kings have been just introduced here to their capacity crowd. The traveling circus has landed in Sacramento. And ARCO Arena, the loudest big top in the NBA, is filled to capacity. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, Craig Sager with you tonight. John, let's start with you. Everybody talking about Sacramento's defense. Their coach, Rick Adelman, is saying we've got offensive problems to worry about.
Well, definitely. Offense has to get a lot of juice from this crowd and be fast. But in particular, Chris Webber's got to get inside and dominate. He's very versatile, but he's got to be in a position where he's got to go inside. His versatility is fine. We don't need his jump shots tonight, although he's very capable of making those. He's got to get inside and try to cause a little havoc, try to get Shaq in a little foul trouble inside there.
Let's now switch it over to Danny Ainge. And Danny, let's talk about some defensive woes for the Kings.
Well, I think Sacramento has got to find a way to stop Shaq. He's been so dominant scoring at will. They don't get a chance to get any rebounds and get in the open court. In Game 2, they did a good job in the end of the first quarter and beginning of the second, coming down and double-teaming Shaq, taking the ball out of his hands, forcing him to shoot the ball outside, getting the long rebounds and getting in the open court, which Sacramento loves. They've also got to do a job. Bobby Jackson taking a good angle, making Shaq a passer. Take him away, take his aggressiveness away, give Vlade a chance. Here, they get in the open court off of a turnover. They've got to mix the game up. They got to take advantage of this hysterical crowd here, and they got to get some open shots.
Here are tonight's Gatorade starting lineups from ARCO Arena. Beginning with the Los Angeles Lakers, Rick Fox, Horace Grant, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and Derek Fisher. And for the Sacramento Kings, Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Doug Christie, and Jason Williams. But Divac, John, remains a mystery. He has had a horrible first 2 games of this series against Shaq.
He can't remain a mystery too long, though, because if he keeps on being a mystery, he's going to be out of here. They need impact inside. Divac is another guy that's got to create a little havoc under the basket.
Great officiating crew tonight. Bennett Salvatore, Bob Delaney, and Teddy Bernhardt. And here we go from Sacramento with Shaq getting the opening tap. And Fisher will take it the other way. Why would the Lakers, Danny, change anything on offense?
Oh, they don't need to. I think that they're going to have to before this game's over. But to start the game, they're going to just see how they're going to defend Shaq. And this is the hardest part of defending Shaq as they move from side to side.
And Horace Grant knocking one in from outside.
And that makes it much more difficult to defend Shaq. If they're able to hit from the outside, then the help is going to be more reluctant to come back in the middle and clog him up inside.
And you not got to know the scouting report. Horace Grant loves to take the shots early in the game. You got to play him a little tougher.
Cleanly shaven Chris Webber inside to tie the game at 2.
Well, he must have gotten the message because that's the right idea. He's got to go in. So he's going to get some shots blocked. He's going to get bumped around. But they have to establish a presence inside and have to get some of the big people in the Lakers in foul trouble.
And that was a Shaq-like. He missed the shot and got the tip in.
Fox out to Fisher for 2 with the rebound snared by Divac.
Both of those possessions, the Kings didn't leave Shaq. In the games previously, Shaq was able to get offensive rebounds, but Vlade stayed on him and kept him off of the offensive boards.
I still don't like that shot right there by Christie. It's a good shot for him. He's open, but I don't like the fact that no one else knew that he was going to shoot it and they had 0 chance for an offensive rebound.
Shaq with the screen, Fox outside. Blows by Stojakovic, Webber inside, caught him in a foul called on Chris Webber right off the bat. And that is his first.
Well, this is an example of what I was talking about. Chris Webber is a great outside shooter, but this is what they need him to do. They need him to be the muscle, go inside. He's the one who's more able to apply muscle with strength and agility and going inside. Now you look at it, he creates a presence, he goes up, maybe a questionable foul, but in the beginning he's still establishing himself in the paint.
Rick Fox in the playoffs has been great from the free throw line, almost 89%. And he leads every NBA player in the playoffs in steals. We talked a lot about his defense.
He's done a good job in the first 3 quarters against Stojakovic. He's locked him up. He's got to try to stay out of foul trouble. But right there, you know, you want the Lakers to shoot outside, but when you rotate out to those outside guys, you can't let them break you down.
A Fisher interception, a 3-on-2. Bryant slides across and banks it home. What a shot by Kobe Bryant.
That was an incredible shot by Kobe Bryant.
Christie tried to slash, got Bryant up in the air. Shaq may have gotten a hand on it, and he certainly reels in the rebound right there.
Effortless on the part of Kobe. I mean, he's just so smooth and so effortless with every phase of the game.
Well, right there you saw that Christie, he was able to get in the inside in game 2, but he wasn't able to finish around the basket because of the presence of Shaq. He's got to find a way to get to the free throw line or make some hoops inside.
Stojakovic, who's coming off a dismal game 2, to Vlade, who drives because the defense of Fox fell.
Well, and so far, they seem to be wanting to attack the inside, and I think that's a good side because it'll cause Shaq to be a little bit more occupied defensively, which may help him when they get down on the offensive end.
Fisher over Williams into the double team. Shaquille O'Neal back to Fox, who again takes it down the lane. Fox for 3. Rebound by Jason Williams. Fires it inside for Stojakovic, who I don't think was prepared to get that pass. Either that maybe had too much smoke on it or whatever, but the other end, it was a good pass by Fisher off to Bryant.
And a great defensive play by Vlade, hustling back and making Kobe change his shot, but that was a beautiful shot.
2 Sacramento turnovers. Shaq tries to go inside and is called for a travel. A charge. It's a charge on O'Neal. First foul on him.
Well, I just like the energy of Sacramento. I didn't see this at all in game 2, in the first half or the second half. No urgency until the game was already over. But this crowd has got them fired up, and I think a deficit of 0-2 has got them fired up.
And more than likely, the crowd will help them to sustain it. That was the thing that they didn't do up in L.A. They did during spurts, but they didn't, Kevin, sustain what they were doing.
Williams the miss. Both teams now gone 2 of 6 to start. Christie wide open for 3.
Good looks by Sacramento. They're a good perimeter shooting team. Those are better looks than they got in the entire first quarter of game 2.
Shaq inside, hounded by Christie, and a Sacramento foul. There's O'Neal, and his momentum carried him outside the three-point arc.
I love that, though. Sacramento's advantage is they have depth. They got to take away the easy baskets of Shaq. Shaq is going to have to earn everything tonight. Give up nothing easy. Use up all your fouls. Use up all your players.
And John, they may have to go to Pollard in there sometime.
Well, and they keep grabbing them like that. They will get used up because Christie went flying under the basket also.
I tell you, one thing about Shaq, if Shaq starts making his free throws, he'll continue to be aggressive and get more aggressive. If he starts out bad, missing free throws, then his aggressiveness could be taken away. And it could be the best thing that happened to Sacramento. But his free throws have been so much better recently.
The biggest thing they have to do is take the smile off of his face. He's been happy. He's been aggressive. He's been everything. And as you indicated, Kevin, Pollard is a person who can come in and help to continue that because of his strength. He's probably the most aggressive defensive player that the Kings have on Shaq.
Shaq has 2. Lakers by 4. Weber handing off to Stojakovic.
Great execution. I mean, that's a set play. Get the ball to Weber on the post and try to create Stojakovic off of a give and go.
Bryant and Christie. And Kobe's second shot tonight is right there, and he starts 2 of 2.
Well, Kobe's the one guy you don't want to give open looks to inside the three-point line, but you got to give something away when you're collapsing on the defensive end.
That was a great job on Fox's part because Williams was getting ready to make the play, but Fox did a great job on Peja and getting there and denying him the ball.
Shot clock at 17. Big clock in the first quarter, just beneath 8 minutes. And here comes Divac across the lane into Shaq, trying to scoop it up. O'Neal there with his 3rd rebound.
Right idea. Wasn't properly completed, but he went in the right direction towards Shaq.
Rick Fox down the lane.
Well, you got to be impressed with Rick Fox. Good job offensively. He's doing a good job on Stojakovic. But also, I like the fact that Shaq coach avoided the foul on that last play.
Shaq with the steal. Another Kings turnover. They now have 3. Fisher to Kobe. Pulling up over Divac and falling short. Vlade has the rebound. And came down hard. And a Laker foul. Bryant picks up his first of the game.
I like the energy of this Sacramento team. They're just going after loose balls. Everything just seems a little bit more urgent. Right there, Kobe got caught reaching and hitting. But right here, Fox does a good job crossing over. Good pick. Weber trying to get there to block the shot. Fox does a good job of shielding him off with the off arm.
Here comes Weber. He shot a lot of shots outside in that game 2 with Christie firing it back to an open Vlade Divac. And he has been shooting only 27% in this playoff series with the Lakers. He's got to get off.
Well, what I love about what they're doing right now is Weber's going to the low post. And even though he's not scoring at will on the low post, he's creating space for the perimeter. They have to honor Weber down on the block, and now they don't have 5 guys on the perimeter. They only have 4.
Bryant over Christie.
Well, Bryant seems to be far more aggressive. That's going to open up Shaq also on the inside.
Williams with the miss, and Kobe Bryant skied for the rebound with Doug Christie picking up his first personal foul.
Well, right here, Weber's inside. He swings the ball all the way around, and he's coming block to block, and Shaq hasn't gone out to guard on the perimeter all series. If Vlade makes a few of those, they might have to. But again, because of Weber's inside play, usually Shaq's man, doesn't even need to go out there on the perimeter because someone else can pick him up.
Shaq is inside that time, cleaning up the Fox miss.
Well, when you talk about consistency, the first 2 or 3 possessions, Vlade put a body on Shaq immediately when the shot is taken, which is what he should do. But now he cannot become lackadaisical and let Shaq become overly aggressive on the offensive boards.
Stojakovic fanning out a 3, another rebound by Shaq, and here comes Kobe. O'Neal has 4. Kobe has 4. Kobe cutting inside, had the ball knocked away, picked up by Weber. Kings have numbers. Weber behind the back twice. Another turnover. Number 4. Shaq into Bryant with a good fake on Vlade Divac.
And we certainly haven't wiped the smile off of Shaq's face. He's looking over here laughing when he makes 2 free throws, when he spoon feeds Kobe for lay-ins, when he gets offensive tip-in dunks. He's having a riot.
He has been absolutely phenomenal in these playoffs, and his Lakers lead by 8.
Well, during this current timeout, Rick Edelman told his team, cut out the fancy stuff, play ball, get the ball to Vlade Divac. I feel that is the key to the offense. As Danny Ainge mentioned earlier, if Vlade starts seeing his outside shots, Shaq will come out. Now, Pete Carrill, who's been in this game for 47 years as a high school, college, and pro coach, noticed a shooting flaw in Vlade's game in game 2. He called Vlade aside yesterday and tried to work on his mechanics. Vlade says you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, Pete said, you may be old, but you're not a dog. They worked on the mechanics. They said he was shooting too much with his arms, not involving his knees. They worked for an hour yesterday, an hour today. Vlade has his rhythm back and his form, but most importantly, he has his confidence, and Rick Edelman wants to get him the ball. Kevin?
Nice story, Craig. Thank you. Vlade has started 2 of 3.
Well, when that old dog is shooting 20-some%, it's time for him to learn some new tricks.
I think it's called the home cooking and home court crowd behind him, and a lot of help from Shaq. Shaq just stole the heart of Vlade in games 1 and game 2.
Fox the steal, jumps in with Christie and slams it at the other end, and the Lakers have their biggest lead tonight.
The Kings have to be very, very concerned with how Fox is playing Peja. You can't throw lackadaisical passes to him because Fox is just sticking with him like glue. He's trying to intercept passes.
Sacramento 4 of 12, now 4 of 13 from the field and 5 turnovers. And they're trying to have some flair without any substance.
This is how they play all the time. You know, this is not normal, but you got to complete it. However you do it, you got to catch the ball and you got to finish when you have 4-on-2 numbers. And they're struggling right now. They're playing with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, but they're a little over anxious, bricking shots and turning it over.
Kobe Bryant had that one tipped by Christie, who picks up his 2nd personal foul. For the Lakers on a 10-2 run right now, Christie picks up his 2nd.
That's a tough one right there.
Very tough. And, you know, speaking about how the Kings play, Danny, a lot of it has to do with whether they're having success. Their style of play is very flamboyant. They're very colorful what they do. But when you're down in the series and things aren't going well for you offensively, people frown on that. And particularly, as Rick Edelman said, let's cut the hot dogging out and go ahead and play. But it looks good when you're winning. But if you're behind, you better take the consequences of that.
Well, at least, again, I'll say that this is their personality. This is the first time in the series I've recognized, even in the Phoenix series, only 1 game of their 4 did I recognize Sacramento as Sacramento. This is their team right here. Whether they're making shots or turning it over, this is how they play, and at least they're in their comfort zone.
But Christie is out. They brought in Bobby Jackson, who played a ton of minutes and looked very good. In game 2 in Los Angeles is Bryant, who is shooting about 80% from the free throw line. Hits the free throw. He now has 8 points in the Los Angeles Lakers with their biggest lead tonight of 12.
Well,
with under 5 minutes, John, to play in this first quarter.
Excuse me, Greg. I'd like to see the Kings fill lanes on some of the Lakers' missed shots. Williams is going down by himself. Christie's probably the only one that will run with it.
Well, and right there was penetration, but both Weber and Christie were standing side by side. Weber's man could have almost guarded Vlade right there. They need to get better spacing in their half-court execution.
Fox, who's had a lot of shots in this first quarter, missing right there. He's now 2 of 5. Jackson to Stojakovic, trying to get a D-box screen, picked up by Fox.
Well, and another example of no balance on the fast break with the Kings. Nobody ran the left lane that time for them. They're such great passes. If the players would just run, somebody's going to be open and somebody can pass it.
The D-box should have shot right there. A rebound by Shaq, Danny.
A shot created has to be taken, and that was not a good decision by Vlade right there. But Stojakovic has to pass the ball. He's dribbling it way too much.
Shaq inside, John, devours anything Sacramento throws at him.
And I think he took Divac's head off with his left elbow when he went up, too.
Under 4 to play in the first quarter. The Kings are shooting 33%. Lakers 53%. Weber across the lane.
Well, that's what they need. I mean, I love it when I see him doing that. This kid is so versatile. He can do so many things, but sometimes versatility is a deterrent to your success sometimes. You've got to pick certain areas of the game and try to dominate with those, particularly if your team needs a certain area to be done.
Kobe Bryant. Defending him, Jackson. Rebound by Weber. Quick outlet to Williams. He shifts gears, throws by Fisher, but can't get it to go. Bryant with the rebound.
Well, that's great penetration by Jason Williams. Very good decision. Hesitated. He's so quick. He can get to the basket. They're just having a tough time getting the ball in the hole right now, but I like their energy.
Jason Williams, who started, John, 0 of 3 from the field.
Well, and that doesn't puzzle me. I think once they get going, particularly if he has 3 lanes, he can get in. But what's great is what you see right now. When you look at Chris Webber right now, he's going in the right direction towards the basket. He's using the power aspect of his game as opposed to using the finesse aspect.
Kobe Bryant just picked up his second personal foul, and so he'll be replaced by Brian Shaw. Scott Pollard will come in for the Sacramento Kings, as will Turkoglu, the rookie from Istanbul, Turkey. So it's Weber, Turkoglu, Pollard, Stojakovic, and Jackson for the Kings. Fisher, Fox, O'Neal, Grant, and Shaw for the Lakers.
And this is the team that got him going in the second quarter. These are their energizers, Turkoglu, Jackson, and Pollard. They've done a good job, and even Weber's finding some energy right now.
An array of moves by Weber, nothing inside except a foul on Chris Webber. That's the second on him. The Sacramento Kings in desperate need of a win. They're down 2 games to none in this Western Conference semifinal. Look at those names and look at those playoff performances and look at the name at the very top. Since 1980, nobody has done more with bigger points in bigger games than Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille's just starting to become in his prime. Last couple of years, he's been so dominant down in the low post, but he does a little bit of everything. He scores inside, he's passing, but his game is all about power and inside key, but great finesse he shows right there, great vision. This guy is the real deal. Obviously. Aren't you glad you didn't have to play against him, Coach?
I thought that was Orlando Holyfield. That's the real deal.
Hey, John did. He played against Bill Russell in practice all the time with the Celtics.
And it was miserable, too. It was very miserable. That's why I never played.
He played averaged 8 points a game. Bill Russell only weighed 230.
No, I'm not going to justify that. I'm not going to even talk, give dignity to those statements that my colleague here makes. You know, something is in his water right now, I think.
Hey, the Lakers have gone 7 of 7, now 8 of 8 from the free throw line tonight.
Well, and that's what makes him dangerous, and particularly when the big fella starts to make free throws, because it's very hard to guard it. The strategy in the past has been to grab him. Now folks have got to have real defensive strategies for him.
Jackson takes it inside, and Fisher picks up the foul. That is the first on him. Well, the Sacramento Kings are in the exact same playoff position against the Lakers they were in last season, down 2 games to none and reeling. This could be an elimination weekend for Rick Adelman's team. A loss tonight, and no team has come back from 3 games down to win a 7-game series. So they need a win, and they need to get some energy from this crowd in a state which right now is strapped for power.
Well, they've gotten energy from the crowd. Now they got to re-energize the crowd. The crowd's been giving them all sorts of help. And right now, every time they do something good, the crowd gets going. But they get on a little run, this crowd will go ballistic.
John, all 14 Sacramento points have come from front court players. The guards are all at 6.
Well, the guards are all at 6, and one of the reasons why is Rick Fox is doing a great job on Peja, and I think he's gotten in his head a little bit. Peja made a great decision that time because he cut to the basket, and it was a tremendous pass by Vlade.
Robert Horry, fresh off the bench, hits the 3. The Lakers had missed 17 consecutive three-point field goal attempts, dating back to the second quarter of Game 1 in this series. Rebound, Pollard. 11-point Laker lead. Horry again, launching a 3. The rebound by Stojakovic. And Horry and Divac colliding with one another. And then Bob Delaney and Teddy Bernhardt will call it a tripping call. It'll be on Robert Horry.
You see Vlade come out to contest Robert Horry's shot. He just made one, so he's feeling it. Gives him a little bump right there. And as Vlade starts running down the court, Robert Horry leg whips in and causes Vlade to trip right there, land on his knee.
And Horry laughing because he was caught. I'll tell you what, they love the playoffs. Tripping guys, and here's Divac at the free throw line.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, all the people that say the Juwan Howard fouls weren't flagrant. I mean, a trip is a flagrant, and the guy's in the air and you take him out, that's definitely flagrant. I don't know about the trip being a flagrant. Guys on the ground, it's pretty tough to hurt him just by tripping him.
Divac hits the first Sacramento free throw tonight, and another. Launched and missed.
What are you saying? That if a person trips a person purposely in basketball, it's not a flagrant foul?
No, I'm saying that the flagrant fouls in the air are a lot more dangerous than guys on the ground. And when guys go down landing on their head.
Less is what you're saying. So that should determine whether it's flagrant or not.
Yeah, how can a flagrant foul be if someone trips?
Depends on how fast you're running.
Yeah.
And if it's done on purpose. Danny Ainge did all of these
things. Don't give up, Danny. Come on.
No, he did all of these things. Clipped people, pushed them, shoved them. Now he's trying to justify it.
Absolutely.
Turkoglu with the miss. Here comes Brian Shaw. Out to Fisher. Minute and a half to play in the first quarter. Horry for 3. He hit his first, has missed his last 2. Turkoglu, the rookie, has it. Racing the other way. Met by a double team. And a nice steal by Horry. Retaken by Pollard. And in shot clock. Stojakovic getting a Pollard screen. Ball jarred free. Here comes Shaw. Weaving, driving up and off, and a foul on Sacramento.
Peja is probably justified in thinking that the fouls are made, but what he's got to realize is that the more success he has, the more aggressive the defense is going to become with him. He's got to hold the ball strong. He's got to become offensively more physical in his play. But complaining to the officials while the Lakers are going on a fast break is not the answer to success.
Jackson picks up his first foul. You saw the turnover story. 9 combined for these two teams. Ryan Shaw at the free throw line, and that is good. And the Lakers from the line tonight, a pristine 9 of 9 with Jason Williams looking on as he missed his first couple shots tonight, as he did in Los Angeles in Game 2.
Great intensity for this game, though. I love it. Tripping guys, flagrant fouls, pushing. I love that.
This is you written all over it.
Absolutely. You know, yeah, I did my share of that stuff, but I had that stuff happen to me, too. I had to learn it. I learned it from someone, Coach.
He initiated it. That's why I loved him. He initiated it all. This guy's unbelievable.
Here comes Jackson across the lane, over 2 and down. Jackson has been playing unbelievable.
Yes, he has. He's playing with so much confidence. And again, this crowd really loves him because he plays every aspect of the game. And his offense has really improved this year.
Inside, Shaq. Outside, Fox for 3. Rebound by Scott Pollard. The Lakers have been out-rebounded tonight by 3 by Sacramento.
And there's been 5 or 6 just bricks been thrown up by him. There's no way he was trying to bank that. Would you pass the ball, Stojakovic?
Well, that's one of the reasons Kings have to get out and run. The Lakers are missing some shots. They've got to get out and try to capitalize on fast break. They're just running one lane in the middle man.
Shot clock at 3 for Jackson. Rebound by Shaq. Lost it. Divac inside. Shaq again with the second rebound.
The Kings are being more aggressive on the boards, though, and that's a good sign. Last game, they didn't even bother to go to the boards. They just ran back.
Shaw right down the lane. Knocked away as the buzzer sounds. Our first quarter has come to a close. In game one, he had 44. In game two, he had a total of 43. And through one quarter night, 6 points. He had 14 points in quarter number one in game two. Western Conference Semifinals. Lakers lead after one, 29-19. Here's what we saw in game one, Danny.
Well, in game one, Shaq had his way. They were supposed to double. Look at Stojakovic just standing there, not giving any help to Vlade. In game two, you see the aggressiveness comes so much more. They're making it difficult. They're trying to come at him. That's too easy. That was in game one also. Here in game two, now they're going to make it tough to get the ball into Shaq right here. They're going to sag from the corner, sag in here as the ball goes in. And then when Shaq catches it, they're going to come down and take it out of his hands. You see Turkoglu in Shaq's lap. You see Stojakovic in Shaq's lap. They got the ball in. Bad angle on the trap, but they're still forcing them to beat him from the outside where they're only 3 for 22 coming into this game. Good strategy, good energy. They've got the tempo where they want it in Sacramento's favor. They just have to execute and make some baskets at the offensive end.
We begin the second quarter. Kevin Harlan, Hall of Fame coach, John Thompson, NBA All-Star Danny Ainge, Emmy Award-winning reporter Craig Singer. Jackson throws it down low. Weber trying to back his way in. Works on Ori. Hooks it up and a miss with another rebound. Gobbled up by O'Neal. He's got 8. Kobe Bryant is on the bench with 2 fouls. The Laker lead has gotten as high as 13 points. Kobe back in the game. And over Turkoglu with the rebound by Pollard.
Great box out and a chance to get in the open court.
No, that's the problem with the Kings. When they're getting those missed rebounds, they're not getting out and running in a balanced floor. If they do that, the guy with the ball has an opportunity to penetrate because the defense doesn't have to sag.
Ori galloping down the lane, crashing into Pollard and a foul. That was a big-time hit. Ori picks up his second personal foul of the game.
An excellent defense by Pollard, giving up his body in the middle of the lane right there. Ori's coming in down the court. He's completely out of control right here. Fadi got hit from behind by Weber. Got a jump stop, make the pass.
Ori will leave. Grant will come in. Grant, Fisher, O'Neal, Bryant, and Shaw for the Lakers. Lakers have 3 offensive fouls. So far, Shaq has 1 with 6 points and 8 rebounds.
Robert Ori was angry about the call.
He thought Weber
Danny Ainge couldn't even make that call.
How about Pollard, though, taking it inside and right in the middle. Weber with a spin over Grant. Rebound by Bryant. Outlet caught by Shaw.
Well, Weber's having trouble finishing those shots inside, but I still like the effort. I still like the moves. He's putting some aggressiveness on him, and it's taking the Lakers out of their open court.
Shaq turnover, a pirouette at the other end by Jackson, a bump into Fisher, and a foul on Derek Fisher. Well, we have seen some adjustments on Sacramento's defense towards Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, what they're doing is they're going back, and particularly when he puts it on the floor. The last game, Danny indicated the fact that they didn't even go back on the dribble. But once they get possession of the ball, the Kings have got to get out and run and balance the floor running.
Turkoglu from outside nails a shot. His first basket tonight.
And I think Turkoglu can take advantage down the low post, too. He's got Brian Shaw guarding him. He's a 6'9" player with long arms and a good touch. So there's another guy they can get the ball to and take advantage of their mismatch.
8-point Sacramento deficit. Lakers shooting 40%. Kings 36. Fisher weaseling inside on Jackson. Shot clock at 1. Bryant on the fly. Rebound tapped by O'Neal and a loose ball foul. And Shaquille O'Neal has just picked up his second personal foul.
See, that's an example of what I was talking about. Pollard stayed between Shaquille. Shaquille should not have been getting as many offensive rebounds in this series without picking up fouls, having to go over the defender.
2 minutes gone here in this second quarter. Christie to Weber. Outside, his first outside shot, and a miss. Good feisty defense inside by Pollard, who stepped out of bounds. Lakers get the ball back.
And the Kings are far more aggressive on the board now. When you look at this, you see Pollard, he's touching O'Neal. Shaquille has to push him in order to reach over him. The official calls the play. Even down on the other end, the Kings are far more aggressive in going to the boards than they were in the last game.
Well, you saw Shaq's frustration. He threw the ball out on the double team, and he wanted the ball back in. But Fisher went to the weak side, took up a bad shot.
Fisher for 2, and he nails it with the assist to Kobe Bryant.
Well, and that's what you're talking about, Dan, when you're talking about taking the smile off of his face. When you start aggressively playing, you don't let Shaq relax as much.
Here comes Weber, who has gone only 2 of 8 to start this game tonight. And misses that. Outside again, Weber takes 2 consecutive long-distance shots.
Well, and Shaq's not in the game right now. You know, he's a great shooter, but you go in, he went in, he didn't get fouled, he didn't get the basket, and got a little probably impatient with it, but he got to the points that he needed to get to, and he's got to continue to go inside, particularly when Shaq is not in the game.
By the way, Fisher, when he hit that field goal a couple seconds ago, Lakers had a field goal drought of almost 5 minutes, dating to the late stretches of the first quarter.
Well, now Kobe becomes the focal point of the Laker offense. Doug Christie with 2 fouls is a big part of the game right here.
Kobe Bryant. Rebound by Weber. Here's Christie, cross court to Jackson. Turkoglu for 3. Rebound by Bryant again.
Sacramento's getting their kind of shots, and again, it's still their tempo right now. They just cannot finish the baskets on the outside or the inside.
Jackson a bump on Bryant and picks up a quick Sacramento foul.
Well, Bryant plays at both ends of the floor. He rebounds the ball. You look at him with the ball. He just looks so smooth and so comfortable. Before, he looked like he was more in a hurry, but now he just takes his time.
And a timeout.
I think all we have to do now is just go think about it. You know, we're a better team, but we have to go improve the world. We cannot let ourselves get beat up on national TV as we did tonight.
Well, Vince Carter's been dazzling. Who would have thought that this team would have that kind of command over that Philadelphia series? 50-9, 9 3-point shots, 8 1/2. And here's the lineup on NBC. Game 4 is this weekend, Saturday, 3 Eastern time, 3:30, with the tip-off between San Antonio and Dallas. And then the famed NBC tripleheader with the Bucks and Hornets, the 76ers at Toronto, Lakers, Sacramento, all this weekend on NBC. Here, the Lakers have never trailed. They've led by as many as 13. This is game 3. They lead now by 10. Bryant's got 8. Shaq on the bench with 6. Here's Shaw on top. Fisher for 3. Right between the eyes. Derek Fisher of the Lakers gives him another lead of 13 points.
And when Shaq went out of the game, you could see he was a little more aggressive offensively. Knocked down the 2 jump shots in a row.
Fisher's got 5. Screen by Pollard, opening the door for Jackson. A rebound by Ori, and a quick outlet caught with Kobe streaking down the side.
Well, it opened the door also for the Lakers, because your first option's got to be to go inside with Shaq not there and then take it from the inside out. But you can't just try to take jump shots at this point of the time. You got to challenge the Lakers inside.
Nice deflection by Pollard. Jackson the other way, lost it, but Christie vacuums it in the corner and puts up a 2, which will not go. The shooting of Sacramento is horrendous. Right now, 31%.
They got to find a way to get Doug Christie involved in the offense, too. I mean, he's spending a lot of time at the defensive end and energy on Kobe, but he is a capable scorer. Again, had 37 points once against the Lakers this year. Big donut so far.
Here comes Christie inside. Knocked away inside by Ori. The defense of Grant. The Lakers are stiffening up inside the lane. By the way, on that last play, Weber was hobbling down court.
Well, he's been hobbling a lot throughout the season, but one of the things that this team needs to realize is that they got to complete. They're getting to the basket and missing a lot of easy shots and have missed them. You look at the field goal percentage here, it's awfully low with these 3 guys, but that's not because they have not been in a position to score. The coach has gotten them in a position to score. They've got to complete some of this stuff. Now, here comes Shaq back in the game, and they're basically taking nothing but outside shots. What are they going to do now? Go inside?
Well, the Kings in the playoffs, this includes the Phoenix series, 12 drops in 3 minutes or more. In this series against the Lakers, 8th field goal drought of 3 minutes or more in this series. So they have had stretches that have been so very uncharacteristic of the regular season as Shaq is back in the game.
And that's because they're playing more half-court basketball. This is not a half-court team. That's why I like the energy of taking the ball out of Shaq's hands. It scrambles their defense, and it gets them in the open court. The more you can get teams to shoot from the outside, the more chance you have of running.
Bryant looking for Shaq, in on Pollard, doubled by Jackson and tripled by Weber with Shaw finding Kobe, fires it inside for Grant with a beautiful hook.
Well, it was a great pass on Kobe's part. They swung. Kobe could have taken the shot himself, saw Grant under the basket and threw it. That's the kind of thing that's making the Lakers very dangerous right now.
Weber outside finally has one go down from beyond 15, and Weber tonight has gone 3 of 10.
But a lot of those shots, Kevin, that he's missed have been good takes. He's gone to the basket aggressively. I don't mind seeing him take that jump shot there as long as he mixes his stuff, in particular as he goes to the basket.
Wow, Pollard just took it right in the chops. He has taken a beating. A third foul goes on Shaquille O'Neal, and Pollard again was the recipient of a sledgehammer.
And that's a good call right there. Shaq definitely leaned in and initiated all the contact. And that's right between the eyes right there. Right, the guy's giving up his body. He is just playing. This guy's playing like the Samurai Warrior tonight. He's giving everything. A true energizer for this Sacramento team.
Well, Shaq does make you pay a price for guarding him now. And that's a good sign in terms of his aggressiveness in going in there.
But Pollard has carved himself an itch. And it's buoyed the Kings all season long.
They won't get it back. Mashburn with 3. Mashburn with 2. Gives it up to Wesley. Straight away 3. Got it! Oh, my goodness! Wesley makes it a 5-point play to end the first half. And listen to the high.
Well, the Coliseum in Charlotte was rocking last night. And the Charlotte Hornets show that they've got something left. And a couple of ex-Miami Heat players, Mashburn and Brown, were absolutely scintillating last night, John.
Well, in particular, Brown. I know Mashburn is playing extremely well, but Brown has been like the silent partner. He does a lot of the little intangible things, getting on the boards, going to the boards. I love the way he plays.
Lakers have led the entire game here, shooting 41%. Shaquille O'Neal, 3 fouls, 6 points, 8 rebounds. Shaq is on the bench. They've got Shaw, Grant, Ori, Fox, and Bryant, Danny, on the floor defensively.
And a critical time right now for Sacramento. They've got to cut into this lead at halftime and get it back in a close number, but Shaq's out. And try to contain Kobe right now because he's the guy that's going to try to take the game over.
Turkoglu, an aggressive rebound. Here comes Christie looking for Weber.
Far more aggressive this time offensively than they were last game. Guys like Turkoglu, King are going in. I mean, these guys are going in and getting rebounds. Weber, I mean.
They're playing like men. They're playing like little boys last game, both to start both halves.
Weber again from outside, where he is 1 of 4 tonight. With a Jackson hustle along with Fox. It'll be Sacramento's ball.
Great hustle play. Great hustle play. They're playing like they want it now.
Bobby Jackson's playing like a man possessed right now, but he always does. Here he goes after the loose ball. Rick Fox knocks it out before Bobby can get there, but just all the effort right there causes the turnover by the Lakers.
Rick Fox is another guy that always seems to be in the mess. Whatever the mess is, he mixes in it a little bit.
Jackson. Rebound by Ori. Rebounding Kings plus 3 tonight, 2017.
They're getting opportunities, you know. They just keep playing this tempo. Again, they got to feel good about the way they're playing. Rick Adelman's got to like it, but they just got to make some shots.
Rick Fox has 6. Robert Ori for 2. There he goes again. He hit a 3 right off the bench. And Robert Ori has 5 points. And the Lakers build their lead again to 13 points. Jackson. Weber is 3 of 11. 3 of 12. Fox again. Every time the Lakers have dug it out, here comes Kobe going high and getting that pass. And the Lakers have set it up. Pushed away and inside. Into the teeth of the Sacramento defense and a foul on Pollard.
Great timing, great patience on Kobe's part. He didn't get in and throw up something reckless. He let the defense settle a little bit, and then he saw his open, played for the basket or the foul, came up with the foul.
Here's Kobe at the free throw line. The Lakers a perfect 10 of 10 tonight, Craig Sager, from the stripe as we send it over to you.
Well, Scott Pollard played reasonably well in Game 1 against Shaq with 9 points and 14 rebounds, but he admitted he was demoralized after Game 2. He had just 1 point, and 4 rebounds for the total for the game, and one play in particular bothered him. That was the dunk by Shaq. Went after the dunk. There was Shaq riding his shoulders. I talked to Shaq. Shaq said, "Oh, I didn't know he was there." Pollard, meanwhile, said that was not necessary. Afterwards, yesterday at practice, they watched video of the game. His teammates saw it. They were razzing him a little bit. He said he felt like a boxer, but he's up off the canvas now, and obviously has a better attitude tonight.
Thank you, Craig. Here comes Christian Shaw. And a foul called on Shaw.
Well, Pollard is definitely showing some toughness out there. I think the whole Kings team is showing some toughness out there. But anytime Shaq goes up for a dunk and you're under him, you're lucky to be alive. He has a lot to be thankful for.
Well, you know, he's playing like a man tonight. You know, I think Shaq stole their heart with his aggressiveness and his size. And Vlade or Pollard, I didn't recognize how soft they were playing in the first 2 games.
Well, they were all talking about strategy. Should we front him? Should we not? And definitely the thing that they needed to do is just to get out and play hard and play aggressive, and that's what they seem to be doing much better tonight.
Kings have 9 turnovers. Kobe Bryant slishing inside and can't get it to go. There's a 2-on-2. Williams, Bryant with the steal. And Kobe the other way. 10 Kings turnovers. The dance by Bryant, the drive and the foul, and that's number 3 on Kobe Bryant, and Shaq is already on the Laker bench with 3 fouls, and Phil Jackson's got a lot to ponder.
And that's a good call. This is a good defensive play by Jason Williams right there. There's nothing he can do. Kobe just lowers his shoulder to try to get by him. Didn't get completely square on him. But you got to be careful when you got 2 fouls. You got to finish the half of the last 4 minutes without getting the 3rd one.
Well, you have to take care of the ball, too. I think a lot of it is the Kings players on the weak side are not running the floor. They play with too many great passes not to run.
3-on-1. Fox to Shaw, set up by a turnover at the other end. Tyronn Lue is now in the game, taking the place of Bryant. And the Los Angeles Lakers have their biggest lead tonight of 17 points with 3:44 to play at half. They're playing like world champions. Let's take a look at the American Express leaderboard. In the last semifinal appearance for the Kings, 81, the Bucks 87, the Mavericks 88, and never have the Raptors, an expansion team a handful of years ago, been at this level. But you know, it's good to see some of these new faces and new teams at this level.
Absolutely, and it's so good for Toronto, because then Vince Carter's stepping up. Maybe he'll stay in Toronto and they give that franchise a chance to succeed. And maybe Weber, with some success in the playoffs this year, will stay in Sacramento, where they have a chance to get some continuity.
Kings get their first field goal in over 3 minutes. Here comes Lue through traffic and pitching it outside to Grant. Rebound by Jason Williams. Out there with Stojakovic, Divac, Christie, and Weber the recipient. Now as he works into the double team of Lue and Fox, it's a 3 by Stojakovic. Another miss and a rebound by Warren.
Well, they're trying to get it back real quick, and they're getting a little bit frustrated with their offensive. I mean, this tempo has been perfect for Sacramento. This is a game where they could have 50 points right now, but they're just having a tough time getting the ball in the basket. Right now, the Lakers completely abandoned the triangle without Shaq and Kobe. It looks like the Bermuda Triangle.
Kings have not hit a 3 all night long. A twist by Stojakovic as he takes it inside and is fouled.
Well, Stojakovic is doing a lot of one-on-one. They've still got to get out and run the break. Run the break. Then if it's not there, penetrate. If it's not there, pull it back and run their offense.
On a timeout.
You know, I won't touch him when he has the ball in his hands. You know, I understand that. That's the rules. I keep my hands off of him. As he penetrates, I'm allowed to keep a forearm tight to my body and a hand up. Other than that, you know, if he's away from the ball and he starts to make his cuts and he's grabbing on me, I can understand a ref seeing a wrestling match, because you know, I'm not just going to let him grab me.
And Stojakovic has struggled. Game 1, 12 points, but 4 of 14. 2 of 9 in game 2. And Stojakovic tonight, 2 of 5. 4 points in 14 minutes. And to understand his dent on this offense, John, he and Weber accounted for 44% of their offense through the regular season.
Well, and what Stojakovic has to understand is that when you become better and when you get star status, they put the hit man on you. And the hit man is more aggressive. He's going to hold you, and he's got to step up physically. He's got to get more moves, and he's got to be far more reluctant to call their game and to play it harder.
And he's also got to be more patient. He's got to let the game come to him. Right now, he's trying to play one-on-one. one. That's not his game. He can beat people off the dribble, but no one else is touching the ball while he's having to struggle offensively.
Fox the miss. Derek Fisher back in for the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers, by the way, only 1 offensive rebound tonight. There's Divac at the other end.
But Kevin, that's what I was talking about. If they run with this kid can make the pass. He's not a setup guard. In transition, he is very good. With maturity, he'll become a setup guard, but he's got to have wings, a middleman. You got to get out and run when Williams has the ball.
And that was almost like the turnover he had throwing it to Weber. Weber wasn't looking for the pass, and Vlade wasn't looking for that one. He got it too late.
Shaw for 2. Second offensive rebound of the night for the Lakers, and Grant puts it back up and in.
Well, that was Peja's fault. He's got to keep him off of the board. Not only can you take the shots, you got to get down there at the end and work on the boards.
Back into Weber, facing Shaw, and you knew he was going to exploit that matchup.
Well, you can see how much the Lakers respect Stojakovic. He got the ball at the three-point line, and 2 guys went out and double-teamed him and left Weber open at the basket. That's how much of an effort, a concerted effort, they have to not let him get open threes.
On a steal by Jason Williams. Ahead to Christie. Fox from behind. Won't matter.
Well, you know, they got it down to 9. They've only gained 2 points since Shaq's been out of the game. That's actually a bonus with Shaq and Kobe out. They're still ahead by 9 points. But right there, Jason Williams, 2 great defensive plays, getting him in the open court.
The Kings on a 9-2 run. And for the first time tonight, ARCO Arena is living up to its reputation. Dallas, San Antonio. Spurs lead this series 3-0. Duncan and Robinson doing a great job. Michael Finley, John, has struggled only 32% from the field. And tomorrow, Game 4 with a possible sweep in Dallas by San Antonio.
Well, in San Antonio, it's just so doggone deep. You talk about quality substitutes, the guys that they put in off of the bench really come in and do a job sometimes as well as the guys that they have start the game.
Zed Fisher, a good addition to this team. I mean, he was injured most of the season. He's come back, and Fisher now has 7 points in the second quarter.
Well, one of the things he adds is defense in terms of quick and smaller players. He also adds pace on offense in pushing the basketball. At least they can run. You don't have to take the shot, but at least you push it down the floor.
Yeah, he's got a lot of juice.
I like him. I like his defense. He plays basketball like a linebacker, and I love it. He draws a lot of charges. He gets in the way of the penetration. He gives them a lot more energy than they had at the beginning of this year. And plus, he has a tendency to make some big shots. He's not afraid to shoot. He's still not a great shooter, shooting under 40% in the playoffs, but it's improved.
Which late offense, Danny, in a close game for the Lakers, they need someone like Fisher to be that way.
Right, he's not afraid. I mean, he'll take big shots, and he's going to make some because he's not afraid, because he's going to get a lot of wide open looks because of the presence of Kobe and Shaq.
Single-digit deficit now for Sacramento, down by 9. They trailed by as many in this game as 17. Morey from outside. Rebound by Christie. 45 seconds to play in the half. Christie will dance and feed inside, and nobody is there, and the Kings turn it over for an 11th time in the first half.
Well, it's happened too many times. They're getting out real quickly, trying to force the ball in. That was a terrible angle to try to get it into Weber. But in the same token, you can run if you don't have it. Then you pull it out, take your time and work your offense. I like the running, but I hate what they're doing at the end.
Remember now, Shaq is on the bench with 3 fouls. Kobe Bryant is right next to him with 3. Shaq was out. Left the game at 6.5 to play in the second quarter. It was only an 11-point lead for the Lakers. Christie with Shaw defending it. Punched the lane. Weber's inside. Bobbles it. Reels it in. 1 second, no time on the shot clock, and that's it with 5 seconds to play in the half. The shot clock ran out. A violation on Rick Adelman's Sacramento Kings.
And that's the second time that's happened. Weber went up for an offensive rebound softly with one hand to try to tip it in, and they're grabbing and holding, and they're not calling fouls in there. They're letting him play, but he's got to go up there and just snatch that ball. He's got great hands. He's got to just yank it out of the air and go back up and dunk the basketball.
Well, he's going in the right direction. He can't get discouraged from going in the right direction, even when the fouls are not called. field, and that's what Chris tends to do. That once he goes in that direction, the referee doesn't make the call that he thinks he should make, he turns into a jump shooter. He's playing the game the way his team needs him to play right now. He's got to continue to do it.
Kobe Bryant has come back in for these final 6 seconds, dancing on Jackson, trying to feed, rams his way into Webber. And a foul called on Chris Webber for a 3rd time. So now he has 3.
Well, what is Chris Webber doing in the game with 5 seconds to go and 2 fouls? I mean, I don't understand that. They have a foul to give, but you don't want your best player picking up a 3rd foul with 5 seconds left in the half. That's ridiculous. You got Thunderberg over there who hasn't even been in the game yet.
Morey taking the 3, launching to beat the buzzer and cannot. That's it. We are at halftime. The Lakers led by 17. Derek Fisher's 7 points in this quarter with Shaq and Kobe in foul trouble kept the Lakers above water, and they lead by 9 at halftime as we send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, Rick, with Kobe and Shaq with 3 fouls, obviously you've had to hold down the fort. How do you feel about being up 46-37?
Well, it's a good start, especially on this home floor there for ARCO. They brought the energy, and now we've got ourselves a little predicament with Shaq and Kobe, like you say, having foul trouble. We're going to have to come out and play a little smarter.
You guys have played differently here than you have at home against this team. What does the crowd do to the opponent?
Other than antagonizing noise as you hear from behind the bench, they try. I think they do a good job of getting them involved, actually, their teammates, getting them to play a little harder. And for us personally, I think we focus more on the defense than the offense, and that's given us the lead.
All right, thanks a lot. Let's go back to Kevin.
Thank you, Craig. This could be an elimination weekend for the Kings. A loss tonight, and no team has come back from 3 games down to win a 7-game series. At halftime, Ernie Johnson, 46-37, the defending champion Lakers, as we send it to you in Atlanta. Welcome back to the capital of California. These are the NBA playoffs on TNT. We're at halftime with the Lakers on top, 46-37. They've led by as many as 17 in the game. The Kings were hoping for a good shooting night from Vlade Divac, and as Craig Sager told us earlier in the first half, assistant Pete Carrill worked during the last couple days on Vlade's shot and the way he was shooting, and it's paid off for a 7. But the rest of the guys, John, have really been staggering.
Well, and I think one of the problems is, Kevin, that they're a fast break team. They've got to get out, make fast break baskets, not have turnovers and make layups. They also have missed all of their 3-point attempts. One of the good things, though, is that they have 8 offensive rebounds in the half, and that's a change from last time.
Well, the reason they have so many offensive rebounds is because they're shooting so many bricks and turning the ball over right there. Jason Williams, that is way too sloppy. They cannot play basketball like that way offensively. I tell you what, I like the way they're playing, but Jason Williams and Doug Christie, 1 for 11 with 6 turnovers in starting backcourt. Jason Williams, 0 for his last 10. I mean, they've got to get some production out of those guys.
It has been devastating for the Sacramento Kings as we now send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, Rick Dattleman was very perplexed by his team's play in the first half. He said they played with heart, they played with emotion, but they played with no intelligence and no purpose. He told the team every possession needs to be accounted for. He thought they did a good job on Shaq, but he said we have to play smarter. 12 turnovers, way too many. Kevin?
Thank you, Craig. And remember now, the Lakers in the 3rd quarter, one of the best teams in the NBA. Stojakovic hits a runner to get things started for Sacramento.
Well, that's what they need. You need to open up that basket a little bit and get this crowd involved. You can see the crowd is a little bit apprehensive at this stage right now, but they have, I agree with what Rick Adelman said. They're playing with a lot of energy. They just got to play smarter on the offensive end. But right here, taking the ball and taking the aggressiveness away from Shaq.
Shaq's got 3 fouls, an interception by Doug Christie. Here comes Jason Williams.
Well, they have to push the ball. Again, you have one lane being filled, and the other lane, there's nobody there. That shot is not it. I don't think it's Jason's fault, though. He takes the shot out of impatience. The guy's a passer and an open field player. He wants to get out and run, but he's got to be smart in terms of his patience in taking the shot.
Here's Shaq with 6 points and 8 rebounds. Derek Fisher, who had 7 points, authored in the 2nd quarter, comes up with 2 right there.
You know, Kevin, one of the things about the Kings, as is the case with most teams, is that they get that confidence in their identity from their offense. When they're not playing well offensively, they're not as aggressive defensively out here.
Divac tries to plow his way inside, and a Sacramento travel. It's on Divac. And through the first 24 minutes of this game, here are some of the numbers. 32% shooting by the Kings, Offensive rebounds, just 2 for the Lakers game. Backcourt points, a huge difference.
Well, it's the first time they've led the Lakers in offensive rebounding, but it's because they're shooting the ball so poorly, but also because they're being more aggressive. But then we see Jason Williams shoot the 3 in transition, and again, not one person even makes the effort to go down and try to attempt an offensive rebound.
And off of misses, you want to get it out, you want to push it, you want to force the Lakers to have to run more on defense. That'll absorb a lot of their energy from their offense.
Bryant grabs his 4th rebound. Lakers trailing the rebounding category by 6 as O'Neal takes it inside, had it knocked away out of bounds. It'll be Sacramento's ball.
But right now, Vlade's gone in, tried to get a foul on Shaq. I think that's a hope he has a chance of having a good game. Didn't get it. Tried to take the flop right there. But Rick Fox, leading in steals in the playoffs, gets another one easy, too. Another horrible turnover that leads to an easy 2 points.
Well, Fox has been playing in that way the whole game, trying to steal the pass. They've got to be aware of the fact that Fox is very aggressive on Peja. Peja's got to be change pace, change direction, and the passer has got to be extremely careful.
Weber to Stojakovic, curling around Fox, back to Weber, shot clock at 4, it's way off.
That's the worst offensive execution coming out of a half I've ever seen in my life. This is ridiculous. Peja, you know, the guy's been struggling for 3 games. They're trying to keep going to him. Why don't they run an offense? They just, Peja's turn, Weber's turn. Peja's turn, Weber's turn. They need to get some movement in their offense and take advantage of the great passers that they have.
Weber's 5 of 15. D-Bot's only the shot by Shaq, who gets it inside and drops the anvil. And Shaq gets his first field goal since 4 minutes left in the first quarter. And there's a technical foul. And it goes on Shaq, which you don't see that often. But what he must have said to Bennett Salvatore must have been rugged.
I don't think he said anything. It seemed like maybe his antics after the dunk or something.
Maybe for taunting. And I didn't see him do that. But
why didn't Vlade box him out, though? Just gives him the offensive dunk, but right there, he just said something to Christie as he ran by and got the technical foul.
Well, and I think these guys have become a little frustrated with his strength, and these guys are more interested in flopping. Christie flops, I think, on this one, as you looked at it right there, even before Shaq even made a motion for us.
And what about the box out? Vlade contested the shot, and he just chased it down.
That's been non-existence in the whole series. They did it in the first quarter, and then consistency took advantage of it. They gravitated back towards what they were doing.
Weber working on Grant. This is one area the Kings think they can exploit. Across the lane, scooping it up and down.
Well, he's going across the lane, and that's why I was afraid that he would get frustrated because he didn't get called. He's grimacing running. Certainly you pay a price for going to the basket, and that's why a lot of players don't go to the basket. But that's exactly why I like Kobe. Kobe will shoot the jumper. He'll use a lot of finesse, but he's not afraid to pay the price of going to the basket and taking the hit.
Christie picks up his 3rd personal foul. You can see some of the scores tonight. Weber has gone 6 of 16. Shaq with only 8. Remember now, the last couple games combined, he has over 80 points. But tonight, early foul trouble have curtailed his play. Nonetheless, the Lakers have led the entire way by as many as 17. Now the lead with Bryant at the free throw line. 8.5 to play in the 3rd. They'll go up to 54-42.
And this is exactly what their game plan is. You can't give up the dunks to Shaq like they got. They can't run out of that. Their half-court offense has been terrible in this series. And they can't give up the free throws to Kobe.
Christie spins off Kobe, takes it inside.
They need to continue to be aggressive and attack the basket right now. With Kobe and Shaq in foul trouble, they're going to be a little bit more hesitant to come over and help and create any sort of problems for the next few minutes, and they've got to try to score easy baskets.
Bryant trying to bullet a pass into the double-teamed O'Neal, and a foul was assessed inside. D-Bots picks up number 2.
Well, D-Bots looked like he was wrestling him at some point. You're talking about dislodging. He can't dislodge Shaq because of Shaq's strength, but he certainly is hitting him in the head. He's pushing him and he's shoving him.
Lakers shooting for the game 40%. Kings 34%. Bryant wide open from 3. Rebound tapped and volleyballed by Grant to Fox, and then Christie steals the ball. 3-on-1, Christie to Stojakovic. Stojakovic with 12.
Well, this is a fast break team. They capitalize on the steal. Two ways you get your break is off of the rebound and off of the steal. But they've got to get out and get this crowd in it the way they are right now.
Bryant the fake, the drive, off balance, deflected by Christie. Here comes Jason Williams the other way, shifting gears and down the lane.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Ford F-Series. The best-selling trucks are built Ford tough. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. It's in the NBA. Is it in you? And by 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls.
Great steal by Doug Christie right there, coming up behind Fox, giving him a little bit of his own medicine right here, and then going in the open court. Good feed. Fisher has no chance of stopping the one-on-two. Right here, good contest by him. A little bit hit on the elbow right there. Got away with the snake bite. Jason Williams, nobody stops him. Kobe running to his man. No communication in transition. And Jason Williams and Doug Christie give him a little bit of offense they haven't been able to provide. Maybe that'll open up the basket for him.
Jason Williams had gone 48 minutes, John, without getting a field goal.
Well, and that's not as bad as it seems sometimes, because he can set up people and still be just as effective. But that last fast break, he had wings. He had guys that were running with him. The defense had to come out. As a result, it opened it up for him to go through to get a layup.
Shaq is in a straitjacket of Kings defenders. Here comes Jason Williams the other way. Working on Fisher, launching it two. And out of bounds and off Los Angeles.
I don't know where the defense was in the first two games against Shaq like this, but this, I don't know if they thought that Vlade could handle him like Sabonis in Portland series, but they're smothering him. Vlade's playing more aggressive. They're all doing more aggressive, but I'll tell you what, the difference between that miss of Jason Williams was they had four guys in the paint to stop him, or to have a chance, I'm sorry, to get the offensive rebound, and they got it.
Divac and Shaq with the shot clock at 10, doubled by Bryant. Divac gets it, over Shaq. Rebound by Fisher.
These guys shoot so many jump shots when they get high percentage layups, so they're getting in great position. They're missing them. If they made half of the shots that they got in great position, they'd be in great position in the game.
Kings are shooting 34%. Lakers 38%. Shaq is not in double figures with only 8 points, shoved from behind. Vlade was defending, and Vlade Divac picks up his third personal foul.
And all Vlade's trying to do is hold ground. He's just trying to keep from being dislodged, and he's just holding his own. He's doing everything he can, and he's being called for a foul. Tough position to be in.
Fox. Divac the rebound. Kings +6 in rebounding tonight.
The Kings have to be careful. You know, they almost gave up another offensive rebound. They got to continue. Every possession is critical at this stage.
Weber threw it away.
Well, they've done that so many times. They anticipated a cut. The guy's not cutting, he's standing. How many times have they not thrown the ball away in anticipation of a cut being made here?
Well, Doug Christie throws it between his legs, almost gets it stolen. Weber throws it out. We've just seen so much of this sloppy, undisciplined basketball in this series. It's killing the Kings.
Weber just turned it over for the third time himself of the 15 Kings turnovers in the game. Look for Shaq, who has gone 1 of 5 this quarter. A turnover right there, and Divac comes out of the fray. 12 Laker turnovers.
And that's an example. Last game, they didn't try to go around and steal any balls from Shaq. They just laid on his back like he was a Chase Lounge or something. Now they're trying to get around him. They're mixing up a lot of the things they're doing to him, and it's making it much harder, as well as collapse back on him.
The Stojakovic miss. The gliding Bryant with the spin, the lean, the rejection by Christie, and a Sacramento foul called inside. Kobe has missed some shots, missed 7 from the field in a row.
Yeah, but Kobe's at least getting to the free throw line to keep some pressure on him, and now he's picked up Another foul, number 4 on Doug Christie. A big foul, so at least he's continuing to find a way to contribute.
Danny, most of Kobe's damage has been inflicted in this third quarter in this series.
Yes, and he's felt that the team has come out lethargic because they've had big leads coming out of halftime, or they just had a confident feeling. And Shaq kind of paces himself at the beginning of the second half. And Kobe's felt that and has dominated the third quarters in game 1 and game 2.
Turkoglu comes in, Pollard comes in, Divac and Christie leave. Williams is out. Jackson takes his place for Sacramento.
Well, they got their energized team in here. Now they got to find a way to score some baskets. Bobby Jackson had a lot of good looks in the first half. So did Turkoglu. They just got to knock these down. Continue to have a mismatch on the weak side with Weber on the block.
Lakers, by the way, 16 of 16 from the free throw line tonight. Weber and Grant. Doubled by Bryant. Stojakovic with 5 to shoot. From point-blank range, he misses.
Well, another example of getting a great high-percentage shot. They're getting the shots that they want. They're just not able to complete them. But this is what they've got to do. They've got to get out and run. If it's not there, don't take it. But at least pressure the defense into getting back quickly.
Weber, the drive on Grant. In the shot. Knocked away in a Laker foul.
Right now, they're a little bit frustrated right there. Kobe went up for that shot. He definitely got pushed by Turkoglu. No call on Kobe, and then Weber takes it aggressive. So the crowd and the intensity that Sacramento's playing with right now is getting the benefit of the calls.
Let's take a look at the WUSA on TNT.
Saturday, see the WUSA on TNT. Every player, a superhero.
Every Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on TNT with Chris Webber at the free throw line. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, Craig Sager in the Rockin' ARCO Arena here in Sacramento. 4.5 to play in the third. Webber fans on the free throw. He is 2 of 3 for tonight as you take a look at Phil Jackson. Hey, you know how Jackson has handled Kobe and Shaq. How do the Sacramento coaches handle Webber, a soon-to-be free agent?
Very gently. Very gently. I think everybody's sort of concerned about the fact of his decision, and sometimes that's not to the advantage of the player. You handle him with kid gloves. You're afraid to maybe be as aggressive as normally you would be because so many players today are so moody. Chris is so great as a player. He needs to be pushed into doing the things that he's trained in doing.
It's a turnover. No, Fox got it back. Bryant, shot clock at 2. Diving inside the lane. Bryant leans and can't get it. Rebound by Turkoglu.
And there's Pollard and Turkoglu giving Shaq all the problems that he can handle on the boards. He didn't get the easy opportunity that he would have got in game 1 or game 2.
Jackson behind his back to Weber. Back to Bobby. A Pollard screen. A mismatch now against Grant. Let's see if he explodes.
If he does explode, Shaq is sitting right in the lane waiting for him.
O'Neal is there to inhale the rebound, and Shaq now with 11 rebounds and 8 points.
I hate to keep harping on this, but that is just terrible basketball right there. Bobby Jackson's not all that. I mean, he's got a mismatch on the perimeter, but they stand around and watch and hope that he makes a 20-foot jump shot with no chance for a rebound.
Ryan with the miss. Lakers over 5 minutes without a field goal. Stojakovic met by Fisher, disrupts the flow, and on top to Turkoglu.
Well, Stojakovic is overhandling. You come down on the break, move the basketball, cause the defense to shift a little bit.
I agree, Coach. You know, Stojakovic is just becoming, he looks like trying to be Marcus Haynes out there from the Globetrotters. Pass the ball. He dribbles the ball, gets the ball on the rebound, hit the first open man. Way too much dribbling.
Clock at 7. Shaq is doubled again. Lakers have missed 8 in a row. Turkoglu for 3. Rebound by Fisher. Up to Kobe Bryant with 14 points. Dancing and weaving and outside to Grant. Missing everything. Shaq is there and down it goes.
Well, the Lakers got caught up in the pace of the game. That was one of the things that Phil didn't want to happen. The Lakers came down, shot very quickly. But then again, the Kings did not keep their focus and concentration. Shaq is too good. He can hurt you in spurts. You've got to constantly keep focus on him, keep him off the boards, as well as play him well in the half-court sets.
The Lakers had missed 9 consecutive shots from the field until this flush by Shaquille O'Neal.
No box out by Chris Webber again. That's what they're so frustrated about. They shoot an air ball, and Shaq right there get the catch. No box out.
Lakers have never trailed up now by 8.
We got game in 17 days. It's WNBA. Ha!
Believe it or not, many online brokers still rely on the technology of yesteryear. Is your online broker even trading online? Daytech Online, built to trade.
Remember the A-Team? Now there was an odd bunch of individuals. They always had some cockamamie scheme to get out of a jam. It never sounded like it would work, but of course it always did. Week after week, same time, same channel. Those were my boys. The Ford F-150 Super Crew. Built Ford tough.
Why don't you get us something to cool this fire down?
I got just the thing. I got 2 laws for that fire.
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
That's not that bad.
We test dehydration under extreme conditions. We test how the brain works when the body is fatigued. We test over and over in a real lab with real athletes with the very focused goal of improving athletic performance. It's called the Gatorade Sports Science Institute. You can look it up.
With Daytech Online, most trades are executed in mere seconds. Plus, Daytech pledges to execute your marketable online order within 60 seconds or the commission's waived. Daytech Online, built to trade.
Hey, there's a lot that's catching my eye at the playoffs. Leading the NBA in accidental playoff flagrants is Juwan Howard. Really, I'm sorry. Career playoff highs for Mash and P.J. Brown. Didn't they used to play in Miami? Sean Elliott's Game 3 was very encouraging, hoping to make up for the loss of Derek Anderson. We've said it before, playoffs create stars. Milwaukee's Ray Allen is one. And finally, on Charles' comeback, we used to call it in Phoenix the triathlon workout. Steam, jacuzzi, and sauna. Got a feeling he'll pick it up a bit.
Well, the big news with him is that he'll go to Chicago, work with Jordan for a month.
Play some golf.
Play some golf.
In between workouts. That's the workout I'm on.
Yeah, eating golf.
I have a tendency to gain weight on that workout.
Weber against Grant. Into Shannon. Shot by Chris Webber.
Going in the right direction, though, towards the basket. Shaq protected himself, got out the way, as opposed to being aggressively going towards it.
6-point game. Lakers have never trailed. They've led by as many as 17. Kobe Bryant over Jackson. Ooh, right there.
I thought Turkoglu was close enough. He could have gone down there and made Kobe give that ball up. He could turn and shoot over Bobby Jackson anytime. Another terrible shot. Quick and forced shot.
Kobe had missed his last 10 to that last hit. Dives in the lane, goes to the hole and puts it in.
There's a one-man fast break right there. But it all sets up by the offense. Their execution is so poor on offense, and the shot selection. I mean, even that shot by Webber was a tough shot.
And they get so much of their energy from their offense. They're not energized if they don't do well offensively. But I tell you what, if Shaq doesn't get you, Kobe will. If the right hand won't get you, the left hand will.
Weber has 18 points. Bryant has 18 points. Those are the two high scores in this third Western Conference semifinal game. Kobe again rolling in. Counted for 2 and a foul. He's knocked in 3 in a row to close out this third quarter.
Well, good play by Weber. You see Shaq turns around. Just because he turns his back doesn't mean they couldn't have called a foul right there. But again, Weber steps back. He knocks down the jump shot. He's mixing up his offense a lot better tonight, mixing about half and half at least, of going to the basket and stepping out and shooting. But another great play by Kobe. I mean, he's just unguardable by Bobby Jackson down there. And again, Turkoglu could have taken the ball out of his hands. But why would you let Kobe post up against Bobby Jackson and let him get his own offense?
Well, Kobe can do so many things on the basketball court. You're absolutely correct. It's got to be frustrating. That time they had 3 guys surrounding Shaq before he had the ball. You throw the ball to the other side, and then you have to deal with Kobe.
Lakers have not missed a free throw all night, 17-17. Kobe completes the three-point play. He's got 21. Turkoglu, 7 to shoot. Overfishing. Rebound by Shaq inside. 14 rebounds, 10 points for O'Neal. Half minute to play in the third quarter.
Well, and he's doing a great job, too. He's in foul trouble. They're doing a reasonably good job of defending him. Shaq isn't pressing, but he is working at the defensive end of the floor real well.
Here comes Fox. Kobe's hot. He's hit 3 in a row. Here's Shaq fouling inside on Pollard. Then a Sacramento foul is called inside. Pollard picks up his second of the game. I don't know more he can do.
Just not slap him across the face. Just
can't do much more to get a rope and lasso him. Or pull him down. You pushed him, you shoved him.
Lakers haven't missed a free throw all night. Shaq is 2 of 2. And there's the first miss. This is the second consecutive year that the Kings have trailed the Lakers, coming to a game 3 in a series. Last year, first round. This year, the second round. 7-game series. And this is where O'Neal had some of his worst playoff games of the season last year. This is where the Kings got back on their horse, began to ride, and tied the series up at 2 apiece. Something they're hoping for tonight. They lose tonight. Never in the history of a 7-game series has a team been down 3 games to none and won. Horry holding on to Weber.
Well, I'm a big Shaquille O'Neal fan, and I like watching him play and score 40 points and 20 rebounds, but I also like this. I also like the team showing so much respect for him that they're double-teaming him and open the game up and making other people beat him. We talk about the new rules coming in next year. This is what it's going to be like for Shaq. It's going to be a lot of double-teaming, but he's still dominant. He's still a huge factor just in his presence alone.
Well, he doesn't press. Kobe doesn't press. Now they're playing with a lot more maturity this year.
Kobe Bryant explodes for 11 points in the third quarter, 21 for the game, a game high. And the Lakers holding on. They've never trailed. In game 3, they lead at 65-54. We welcome you back to Power and Energy Straps, California. Although it's lit up tonight, and that's what the Lakers have done to the Sacramento Kings. Light them up 65-54 through 3. Now time for tonight's Budget Rent-A-Car Fast Break. Look at the backcourt points for the Lakers. And the great free throw shooting by Los Angeles tonight. The Lakers put up with down those cowbells. This stems from a comment that Phil Jackson made last year in the playoffs in the first round when he said Sacramento is a cow town. So
that's the price you pay for that comment.
Yeah, got to watch out what you say. We begin the fourth quarter. Kevin Harlan, John Thompson, Danny Ainge, Craig Sig. Shaq inside with 10 points. Brian Shaw caught it. Whistle blew away from the ball. It was inside, and a foul called on newly instated John Barry.
I like this substitution. You know, he's a crowd energizer. This guy, I thought he should have got some time in the first half, but, you know, coming in fresh in the fourth quarter, the most important game of the year without any time early in the game is a little bit tough, but I like his energy and his ability to score some points.
Lakers are shooting 38%. Here's Bryant, who had a great third quarter and continues in the fourth. He's been a flamethrower in the second half. Bryant has scored 13 of the Lakers' last 15 points in the second half.
but that's not an aggressive double team. If you're going to go double teaming like Webber was that time, you got to take the ball, make him a passer, just like they're doing with Shaq.
And there's Bryant, 23 points, and now 6 rebounds. Whips it into O'Neal, double teamed by Pollard and Turkoglu. And every turn, every movement of O'Neal tonight has been watched.
Well, they're far more aggressive with him. Last time, I thought that they were extremely passive. That time, they really jerked his arm out of the socket and hit him. But one of the things that I think that has happened is that Vlade has tried to keep him out from getting a deep position. Last game, they let him get extremely deep position in the ball game, and then he was totally defenseless.
Shaq missing the first free throw, and the commissioner of the NBA is in town watching this game tonight, soaking up what has been a great atmosphere. Adam Silver, by the way, is on the left, and there's Commissioner David Stern in the middle. Adam Silver runs NBA E and is the right-hand man, along with Russ Granick, for the commissioner. And that's the brain trust, the people that make this great machine work. 68-54, the Lakers. Christie. Webber. Minute gone here in the fourth.
More movement needed, though. This is a great passing team. Everybody's standing, letting one guy go one-on-one. And you can't take advantage of your ability to pass when that happens.
4 fouls on Robert Ory.
LA's got to feel great right now, though, with 11 minutes to go in this game. Shaq and Kobe both in foul trouble in the second quarter, only have 3. They have a lot of fouls. They can become aggressive at both ends of the court down the stretch.
Here's Webber. 8 of 20 shooting tonight with 18 points and 11 rebounds. Doubled here and over Ory. It seems like every time he's been inside and every time he's gone against a smaller, comparably sized player, not including Shaq, he has won the battle.
Yeah, but they're still just hoping that he makes it, and it's just do or die, because that's not a real high percentage shot, although it's a good shot, but they just have nothing else, no opportunities to get lay-ins on their offense.
There's no offside movement, offside cutting, because not only is he a good offensive post-up guy, Chris, but he's also a good passer.
Bryant contorts his body, and a 4th foul is called on Vlade Divac.
What a great 1-2 combination. And Shaq, what a great asset it is to have a guy that's 340 pounds setting screens for you to try to get that people don't want to leave because they're so afraid.
Well, the other thing that you have to respect Kobe for, a lot of players are reluctant to go in and take the beating. When you penetrate to the basket, you take the beating. Kobe's not afraid to take the beating to get to the foul line, and that's why he's such a great player, because he can hit the outside shot, and he will take the punishment going to the basket.
Dan, you were telling us a story today about Phil Jackson's words to both Bryant and O'Neal at the end of last season. Shaq didn't play a lot of basketball in the summer. Kobe played every day for many hours.
Yeah, Kobe's 22 years old, but Shaq, Phil really wanted him to take the entire summer off. I think that's why he didn't come back in such great shape. I think it's a good idea, but you got to get back in September ready to go again after you take a couple of months off.
And Kobe may have resented that as Ory gets the rebound on the Webber miss.
I don't know if Kobe resented that, but I think Kobe saw that Shaq wasn't himself to start the season, and that's why he's so aggressive. The way Shaq's playing now, there's no question that you get him the ball in the post.
Ory, Shaw, Bryant against Turkoglu, the drive, the lean, and the foul as Divac was there, and Turkoglu and Bryant exchange words. And a shot with Divac coming into play, peacemaker, I think. Unless Divac is saying, get away from my friend.
No, the frustration. I like Kobe. He's just walking away from the confrontation. He's just trying to play. He knows that they're frustrated, and they just got to continue to attack and end this series tonight. I know it's not finished, but it will be.
Third, you're right. You're exactly right. No team has ever come back 3 games down to win a 7-game series.
Well, again, and that was an example of Kobe taking the hit. I mean, a lot of players do not want to do what he is doing. It's something very simple, but it's also punishing. That's why a lot of guys become finesse players and jump shooters. They don't want to go in and pay the price of going to the foul line, and Kobe does a great job of doing that, and particularly when you're ahead, as opposed to launching up jump shots or ill-advised shots. He's still getting productivity from the foul line.
And the great thing for the Lakers right now, sorry, Kevin, is that they're in the penalty the rest of the quarter, the rest of the game, and so, as long as they're shooting free throws, Sacramento cannot get out and run and excite this crowd.
John Barry maneuvering in, banking it home.
The Lakers have a tendency to start standing around when they get leads in the fourth quarter, though. They stop being as aggressive. They try to run more time off the clock, and that could play into the Sacramento's hands right now and try to jump up the game.
And, John, here they have 58 points, the Kings do. This is the highest scoring team in the NBA in the regular season with just 58 points into the fourth quarter.
Well, a lot of that has a lack of good defense because you've got to stop the Lakers in order to run, and they've got to get out and be able to run, especially when you're at home and you're trying to involve your own home crowd.
What is Doug Christie thinking about? Football didn't have a chance.
He wasn't thinking. And that's what Rick Adelman was talking about. When Craig Sager said Rick Adelman indicated to him that they had the energy, but they weren't being smart. That was a perfect example of not being smart.
Excuse me, John. Technical foul on Robert Orr, pleading his case with his coach. Watch, Christian. This ball had no chance of going in.
This is ridiculous right here. This ball, if it goes in, fine. I mean, you got to make him earn it. You can't just give him a basket.
It looked like the same team we saw in the Phoenix City. It looked like the same team we saw all regular season, speaking of the Sacramento Kings.
Well, you know, they're just not finishing, and they're playing a little bit out of control right now, but you got to give the Lakers a lot of credit. They're playing a great basketball game, and Shaq's presence is causing so much attention that other guys are having a chance to step up a little bit, particularly Kobe. But Shaq also, you know, I think that the defensive pressure that they're having to put on him and the intensity and the fact that they got behind. The Lakers came out ready to play tonight, took it to him right from the get-go, and Sacramento's been playing catch-up ever since, and they're playing out of sync. They're rushing, they're one-on-one, they're trying to do it individually rather than being patient and allowing the team as a team to come back.
Christie's got a cut on his elbow, and they take a break with Sacramento trailing the Lakers 72-59.
You can climb over mountains, cross the widest deserts, but there's only one place you'll find deals like these: your Honda dealer. Now with your Honda card, get no down payment on all our new ATVs and low monthly payments as low as $79 on the Rancher for the first 2 years. And now, only through May 31st, you can also get Honda bonus bucks on any new ATV. Deals to move on. It's time to move.
For the first time on network television, you're nothing to me but another dead vampire. Watch Wesley Snipes in Blade. See the network television premiere Sunday, May 20th on TNT.
Catch what's coming to DirecTV. May 18th, Denzel Washington stars in Remember the Titans. Also May 18th, the spotlight is on in 102 Dalmatians. Some things can't be learned. They must be remembered. Will Smith, Matt Damon, Charlize Theron, the legend of Bagger Vance. Let the movies come to you on Direct Ticket Pay-Per-View on DirecTV.
They fight for the middleweight crown to be part of history. Felix Trinidad to join the legends. William Joppy to stop him. Trinidad's undefeated but untested as a middleweight. Joppy's defending his crown for the 8th time. Only one gets a shot at the undisputed middleweight world championship and a place in boxing history. Trinidad versus Joppy, May 12th, live on Direct Ticket. Don't miss this historic match live on Direct Ticket Pay-Per-View Channel 101. Only one can make history.
The score 72-59. One series summed up the presence of Shaquille O'Neal. 43, 44 points in previous 2 games, 13 points, 14 rebounds tonight. But his sheer presence intimidating in the middle. He can only be compared to one other player, Wilt Chamberlain, from a different era. For perspective, we went to one of Wilt's teammates for 2 years and an opponent for 8. Nate Thurmond, a Hall of Famer himself, one of the top 50 players of all time. And here's what he has to say.
Wilt did not use his strength and his bulk. And this is what I'm talking about, a different animal in Shaquille. Wilt shot the fadeaway. Wilt shot a finger roll. Wilt did not go in and bump and dislodge people. That was not his game. So it was a little bit easier to defend against him. And if you remember, the main point is 60% or more of Wilt's shots came on fadeaways. So you had to extend out to get him, not him bumping you back.
Nate Thurman, a great defensive player in his own time. We found him down the road in Highway 80 at Nate's Barbecue in the Bay Area. Kevin?
Yeah.
Man, was it good.
A guy that agrees with me, Coach. He couldn't guard Shaq. He said he couldn't guard Shaq. Russell couldn't guard Shaq because he's so much more physical than Wilt Chamberlain.
Don't you ever make your mouth say that foolishness. Trust me. And I give Shaq credit for his greatness. That has nothing to do with it. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 points a game, so somebody couldn't guard it.
I know, but he didn't use his strength. He faded away.
Double team. Shaq flips it outside. Shaw to Fisher for three. Derek Fisher does it again. He's got 12 points, 3 assists, and the Lakers build their lead again, 75-61. Good move by Christie. Puts it inside, and it'll count.
Well, that was an example of cutting. And because these guys can pass so well, both Vlade and Chris Webber, when they're standing around and guys are not moving, you can't take advantage of that. So it makes it easier to double Chris when he is in there in the posted position, or easier to guard Vlade when he's in the posted position. Their passing becomes another threat when the offside people are in motion.
Kobe Bryant has 4 personal fouls.
You know, last game they were at the same stage, and it seemed like they were down by 30 because of their energy. This game they've at least played hard, and they're one spurt away from getting right back in this game. And again, because the Lakers slow the game down when they get a lead, I think that Sacramento still has a chance in this game.
Inside, looking for Bryant. What a play!
Kobe doesn't think so, though, does he? He doesn't think so. Kobe is unbelievable. I love his timing. Love his timing.
That was incredible. Here's Christie into Divac, knocked away. A 3-on-2. Shaw to Bryant, comes inside, overbearing, finds it again. Kobe Bryant with another jaw-dropping play, 29 points.
And I love the fact that they're not letting up. In the first 2 games, they had a chance at the 4th quarter. Right now, they're not. Kobe the alley-oop, and then the fast break, they force the issue. I love that.
Go inside, and a foul called on the Lakers. This is unbelievable.
Well, you don't have many guys that can do this. I mean, you're talking about the guy, he's added strength to his game because you're sealing, you're pushing, he's doing a lot of things in traffic, and then now he uses finesse, makes a quick spin and jumps up and makes an unbelievable basket.
Bryant himself has accounted for 29 points. In the Laker backcourt of 45, just 15 for the Sacramento Kings. They are getting killed in terms of backcourt scoring as Vlade Divac gets the first free throw.
Excuse me, Kevin, and that's the danger. And Shaq absorbs so much energy in your defense. You try to talk about and analyze how you guard him, and you tend to forget that you've got an exceptional player like Kobe who just busts loose and hurts you once you do the things to slow Shaq down a little bit.
79-65, the defending world champion Lakers inside to Shaq with a gentle touch and 2 and foul inside. O'Neal now has 15 points. The Lakers from the field, John, in the 4th quarter, 6 of 6.
Well, very definitely, and you don't have a whole lot of guys that can do what he can do, too. I mean, he's strong. They hit him that time. He went up and still put the ball in the basket.
Christie picks up his 5th foul. Shaq has that roll in. 3-point play for him. Wisconsin coaching staff of Pete Carroll on the right, Rick Adelman on the left for the Sacramento Kings, who really thought going into tonight this was their night to go. And now loop to Chris Webber. He's got 24.
Well, the Lakers have shown no signs of letting up right now. Now Kobe's turned his aggressiveness on the offensive end, and that time they went to the weak side with the triangle. They formed the triangle on the weak side of the offense, and Shaq was on an island on the weak side, but the double teams didn't have a chance to get there.
Bryant to Fisher, who's played a very efficient point guard. 6 seconds to shoot. Fisher with the miss. O'Neal with the rebound, counted for 2 and a foul. Shaq is turning it on. He's got 18 points with 16 rebounds and made this look easy inside.
Well, they made it look easy, you know, but Chris was actually trying to keep him off that time, but that shows Shaq's foot agility. He spun off of that box out and just out-hustled him to the left and got the ball.
And I think this 75-pound weight difference had a lot to do with that one, too, because Weber, you got to give him credit. At least he tried that time.
Christie misses the dunk. Shaq comes up with it. Lead pass to Fox. Behind-the-back pass to the trailing Bryant. It's loose. Kobe gets it. Great move on Barry. Leads inside to Shaq, and John Barry gets the steal.
Well, I love John Barry's energy. Dan was absolutely right about the fact that, you know, his energy tends to be contagious with the rest of the players.
Finally, Weber down at 26 for Weber, but Bryant a nice block in the first attempt.
But in Chris is inside. I mean, now he's inside power. It's just the other aspects. They can't put together all of the aspects of the game that they need to play. Defensively, they relax. Shaq gets an offensive rebound when they make a run. Offensively, when they stop, they've got to get out on the break and capitalize.
Fisher to Bryant. The drive on Christie. The flip to Fox. He'll put up a three. Rick Fox from outside. 11 points. Tonight, the Lakers have hit 4 threes after missing all 10 of their three-point shots in Game 2. And with that, they've got their biggest lead tonight.
That might have done it right there.
The Lakers are on a roll. They lead with their biggest margin of 18.
A lot of online brokers still process orders the old way, sending them from one middleman to the next. Is your online order routed to get you the best available price? Daytech Online, built to trade.
Only one left. Who wants the last Frost Brew Coors Light?
Beerman. Beerman.
Well, close one.
Close. The beer man is going to have to consult the instant replay. Upon further review, the lady gets the Coors Light.
The beer man's fair.
Look at her.
But he ain't stupid.
Look at me.
5 seconds to transmission.
Kyle, we're ready to send you back in time. Remember, do not interact with the past. Just observe.
All right, let's go.
What's that?
What?
He has something.
Go, the lever! Pull the lever above your head! Please, Kyle, pull the lever!
One tiny bottle of Sunkiss couldn't possibly alter history, right?
I don't know. Mr. President, your new cabinet.
Thank you. That's a... Sunkiss. Experience the charge. Good work.
Daytech's advanced routing technology automatically directs your order in an effort to get you the best available price. Daytech Online, built to trade.
And so the detective said the butler didn't do it. It was... My book! Let's go, Rick. Where's that page? I've got to finish my book. Hello, sir. Can you please tell me how your book ends? No! Now I'll never know. Brick! Oh, Brick, look what I've got. Good dog.
Mike Miller is here. He's the Rookie of the Year in the NBA, and so is
I was Rookie of the Year.
Michael Jordan's new roommate.
Oh, young guy with something. Lean cuisine. Woo, Carl, I love you to death. Woo, that's tough. That's the shortest tie in civilized history, isn't it? That's the Johnny Carson tie. That used to be the Johnny Carson. It was made of cloth. I remember those.
And next week on Inside the NBA, you'll have guests in studio like Allen Houston of the New York Knicks, Jalen Rose of the Indiana Pacers, and last year's NBA Coach of the Year and Turner alum Doc Rivers. And these are the games as of right now we're looking at, and a couple of if necessaries under some of those. All next week on Turner Sports. John Barry for 3. Rebound, Kobe Bryant skies and inhales it.
That was impressive right there.
Oh, man. Hey, the Sacramento Kings have not nailed a three-point shot all night long, and a foul on Stojakovic for the first time.
And they're starting the hack of Shaq right now. Away from the ball, they just fouled Shaq intentionally. They're going to try to make him... They're going to the desperate move of the hack of Shaq, and we'll see how he does. And he's struggled, only making 2 of his last 6.
You know, and the bad thing about this is the fact that the Kings have improved. They have played better. They're far more aggressive on the boards. They've done a better job of guarding Shaq. You got to give the Lakers credit. They're just playing against a very good team.
O'Neal again.
Paid off. That's a turnover.
3 on 3. Now the defense falls in as Fox slowed up Stojakovic. Fox's defense has been exemplary in this series. Bumping and grinding inside. Stojakovic got in, missed, and Divac shoves it back through.
Now they're fouling Shaq away from the ball again. This will be a fun way to finish the game right here. But you know what? Shaq's got to make him do it. But Stojakovic, would you please pass the basketball?
Stojakovic tonight, 4 of 12. 12 points. Weber's got 26. And they got Divac with 12, and that's been about it.
And Peja uses up the whole clock to get a shot, so he might as well be delaying the game for the Lakers. The Lakers want to get out of here. They want to cut the game. So Peja takes so much time getting his shot that that cuts the clock for the Lakers.
And we talk about players being in the zone, you know, being in the front part of their brain. Right now, Shaq's about the left side of his neck with these free throws.
John, don't even ask, don't even try to explain. O'Neal took it inside after the miss. And a foul on Stojakovic. He's got 3. Shaq tonight, 4 of 12 from the free throw line. And you can see why they are doing this. He is, at best, a 50-50 free throw shooter through the course of the season.
But when he's shooting free throws, John Barry and Doug Christie have to get in there and rebound. Oh, my goodness. All women and children close their eyes right now. And Shaq's shooting free throws.
That's one of the things he does like Wilt.
Yeah. Go under. He uses his strength. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, they let him get the free throw back. I mean, they need 5 guys to rebound his shot.
Well, they have to be able to capitalize down at this end of the floor. I mean, you come down, and then now Shaq's going to get a dunk right here.
How can a man who's that big move that fast and beat everybody else down the floor?
By not coming back.
That's one way. Well, he was at half court.
By not coming back.
He was trying to keep from getting fouled.
Yeah. This thing's over.
Oh, yes.
90-71. Lakers on top. Here comes Fisher. Off to Grant. And back to Garrett for 3.
I think it's safe to say that the Lakers and San Antonio is going to be the Western Conference showdown. I think Dallas has a chance to win a Game 4 if San Antonio doesn't show up to play, and I think Sacramento has a chance to win a Game 4, so we could have a Game 5, but I really believe the series is definitely over, and we're going to see the matchup everybody's been waiting for, the Lakers and the Spurs.
Sacramento right now has the biggest deficit of the series, down by 19. They never led in this game. The highest scoring team in the NBA, the Sacramento Kings, never led.
Well, and that's to the credit of the Lakers, because I think the Lakers came out and executed their game plan extremely well, too. Far more aggressive were the Kings than they were the last time. They did a lot of things very well, but again, they're playing against a very powerful and talented team that has 2 extremely strong options. When you go to Shaq, you stop Shaq, and then Kobe will hurt you. So I just think that they're playing against a team that's just so much better than they are right now.
You see the championship ring worn by Phil Jackson right there on the bench. He took that out as the playoffs began. And he has really done a very good job with this team. He got the earplugs in, too. The cowbells were driving him crazy. But, you know, they looked like a month and a half ago, this team was unraveling before our eyes. Stood back and watched. Let them grow up and decide amongst themselves. They did, and now they've got perhaps as good a chemistry as any team right now in the playoffs.
Nothing is better for chemistry than a 14-game winning streak.
And that's what it will be after tonight. You're exactly right.
And, you know, they've had a great success at home, but everybody's feeling good about themselves right now, and the team is playing with so much energy. There's a lot of questions. Is this team better than last year's team? I don't know if they're better than last year's team when last year's team was at its best, but they're playing a lot more consistent and with a lot more consistent energy.
And I think that the relationship between Kobe and Shaq, from a playing standpoint, the timing to them doing the things that they can do are a lot better this year than they were last year. They don't cross over each other as much.
And I think the fact that both of them sat out extended periods of time in the second half of the season and sat back and watched and respected the other one while they were able to win some games without each of them on the court, I think helped them both change their outlook. And and then the addition of Derek Fisher, I think those three reasons have been the greatest reason for their success.
Kobe Bryant, 29 points tonight. Oh, Kobe Bryant puts it in for 2, 31 to dominate with the Lakers tonight over the Sacramento Kings. He looks as fresh now as he did when we tipped off 2 hours ago.
Does it smoothly, very easily, very smoothly.
And you know, the Laker team last year didn't do this. I mean, they showed up in game 3 and just kind of tanked it and thought the series was over, and they didn't have the killer instinct. And they showed a tendency of that in game 1 and game 2, but they really came out tonight and played great because Sacramento came out with a ton of energy.
Mark Madsen is in the game. He was a high pick out of Stanford. He's taking the place of Shaq, who is out. Shaq finished with 21 points and 18 rebounds tonight. As we're under 3 minutes to play in this game 3. And again repeating, no team since they've gone to 7 games in the playoffs has ever come back from being down 3 games. And the way the Kings are playing, a technical foul has just been labeled on the Kings. Lakers have their biggest lead. This game is over and the series may be over. It's been a disaster for the Kings.
He had to sacrifice a little bit of his offensive ability, which is, you know, he can score on 2 and 3 people. But for us to be the most effective team defending a championship, you know, he had to trust the rest of us to miss shots, to turn the ball over, to not make plays, and not see it as the end of the game, or, you know, our inability to be effective. And as he gave us more trust individually, you know, our confidence grew.
He's been great prior to the All-Star break. Only 4.5 assists a game, and now John in the playoffs well over 6. The unselfishness of Bryant, his scoring hasn't suffered. He's been spectacular tonight. He is everything that you would want him to be if you were his coach and one of his teammates in these playoffs.
And that's the thing that makes him even more dangerous, because his timing is better in terms of when he looks for scores. But I like the fact that he has older players on the team that can help him come along and understand. Coaches need people to reinforce things that they say. And it's great when you look at that Laker bench and you look at some of the experience that they have on that team to be able to sit and talk with a guy like Kobe and have him respect what they're saying.
Some house cleaning here. Bryant took the technical free throw, and that was a technical on Doug Christie, who fouls out of the game. Now Bryant shooting those free throws attributed to the foul of Christie. Devin George is in the game for Horace Grant.
He's kicked Doug Christie out of the game. He continued to harp at Dennis Salvatore.
I got to tell you, Danny, I thought he hurt him in game 2 because he took too many shots, and I think he hurt him tonight again with his offense.
Doug Christie?
Yeah.
Well, you know, at least I like his aggressiveness. He's just got to make shots. He's got to be, I like how he's going to the basket, but he's got to find a way to finish. But they just got tortured in the backcourt tonight. Jason Williams and Doug Christie just gave him nothing. Jason Williams played pretty good defense, believe it or not. I mean, he came in and made some good plays defensively, but really struggling with his outside shooting after having such a great series against Phoenix.
And I don't mind Christie when he's going to the basket, because he makes a lot of steals. A lot of times he's out front. I'm concerned when he's taking a lot of jump shots, but I agree with you. The fact that he's aggressive, this team needs some form of aggression, but it just hasn't been successful with what he's doing offensively.
But he was 3 of 12, and he had a horrible night in game 2, and he just hasn't helped the team.
It's not how many shots you make, it's how many of them you take. Ask Danny Ainge, guys.
I know that. He was 3 of 13 in game 2, by the way, too.
No question. FGA is the most important stat out there.
All you wanted to do is get the shots off, weren't you?
No question. Hey, once it leaves your hand, it's out of your control.
Lawrence Funderburk is now in the game. Let's take a look at TNT's all-new original series, Witchblade.
Powered by justice, fueled by evil. Coming this summer, TNT's newest original series, Witchblade.
June 5th on TNT, and over to Craig Sager we go.
Well, you heard Danny Ainge mention the fact that Kobe was injured. He sat back and watched the team, saw how he would fit in if he came back, was more unselfish. There actually is one particular game that we noticed, and that was the game at San Antonio on February 21st. He got hurt on the road trip. He sat out with a sprained ankle. The team beat San Antonio without Kobe. 7 players were in double figures. At that point, after the game, Shaquille O'Neal mentioned how important the role players were, how they were key to winning the series and the championship a year ago. Build up their confidence. The role players felt better as Kobe continued to sit. They were a more active role. They showed replays of the game. And Kobe, at that point, after watching the team win at San Antonio without him, saw that team play was probably better than him taking over at any time he wanted. Kevin?
Thank you, Craig. Bryant is gone. He has 36 points. He had 15 in the fourth quarter. He almost personally secured the win in this fourth quarter for the Los Angeles Lakers. A spectacular effort for Bryant. Lakers and Bryant 77% shooting in this fourth quarter.
Well, sometimes, Kevin, team play is enhanced by Kobe taking 30 shots, too. Balanced scoring is fine if it works out fine, but sometimes when you got a guy like Shaq's ability and Kobe's ability, it's extremely important for those guys to dominate the offensive attempts.
Bryant finishes 10 of 22 from the field. Jackson in there with Derek Martin, former UCLA player, and he tosses up the shot. Rebound by Shaw. Inside the NBA is next, presented by Hyundai. Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet, Charles Barkley are there. During the night by the Blazers, Rod Strickland. All coming up after the second game of our doubleheader on TNT. Turkoglu the miss. Sacramento 0 of 13 on three-point shots tonight.
We talk a lot about Jason Williams. You know, Jason Williams hasn't had a good series here, and I'd be surprised if Jason Williams here in a Sacramento uniform next year.
Is he on the trading block?
Well, I don't know if that for sure, but I would just be surprised by the way he's played and kind of the role that he's taken. I don't think he's happy with it, and I think it'd do him good. And I think he has a good career ahead of him, and it would be good to get into a different city and a different uniform.
Devin George, he is such a mystery, Danny. You really don't know how he fits or what his role is on this team.
Well, you know what his role is. I mean, he's an offensive player, and he plays the first and third quarter. I mean, that's been the consistent role over the last 2 years.
Well, he's also a transition player. He likes a wide open game, Kevin, getting up and down the floor, a lot of movement where he can use a lot of the passes that he usually takes. And Jason is not a setup guard. He's not a walk down the floor guard. That's making him something that he's not. He's got to learn how to do that during certain segments of the ball game.
Williams is 0 of 5 in game 2, 1 of 6 tonight. That one basket he hit was a drive down the lane, a layup. Turkoglu at the free throw line. Remember, we told you that the Sacramento Kings were the #1 scoring team, #1 offensive team in the NBA. 77 points tonight. Team averages over 100 a game.
Again, sometimes your best defense is having great offensive players, and having to worry about Shaq and Kobe maybe took away a lot of their offensive confidence, and because of their defensive, they were just defensive-minded throughout the series. But whatever the reason, you got to give the Lakers a lot of credit. They have the ability to be one of the top defensive teams like they were last year, and their intensity level's been great throughout the playoffs.
Tyronn Lue nails a three-point shot. Well, they had put a lot of emphasis on this third game here in Sacramento, knowing that history was against a team down 3 games. Turkoglu nails a 3. That's the first one tonight for Sacramento. Too late. Lakers win it. They go up 3 games to none. And Sacramento in a huge hole. No team has ever come back from this kind of deficit in a 7-game series and won. (103-81) is the final score. The champion Lakers win it. Let's send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, Kobe, the first 2 games were won in the third quarter when you took the game over. Same thing here, except after going 3 for 15, you made your last 7 shots. What was the difference this time in the third?
Well, you know, it was a slow start for both teams to start the second half. But, you know, they had Bobby Jackson on me, so I just ran him down the post. Something that I really wasn't looking forward to taking advantage of in L.A., but out here we needed to do that.
Coach Thompson was commenting the fact that you go to the hoop, sore ribs and all, you go to the free throw line, take the punishment. Are you conscious when you go in there knowing you get hammered?
Yeah, but I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of getting bumped. I'm not afraid of a little contact. If I was afraid of that, I wouldn't play.
We talked so much about the first 2 games, Shaq was unstoppable. Is there anybody that can stop Kobe Bryant when you want to take over?
Well, you know, for me, it's really not about that, because to stop me, you also have to stop my teammates. You know, if you're going to stop my penetration, I'm going to kick it out to Fox, I'm going to kick it out to Fish, and they're going to make you pay for it.
What's the difference between early in the year when people are talking about the chemistry of the team, you and Shaq fighting over turf war, and a 14-game winning streak where everybody's getting along and the chemistry is tremendous?
Well, a lot of this stuff was made up. You know, Shaq and I obviously weren't getting along, and I think the papers blew it out of proportion. And I think our teammates kind of fed into that, and it started affecting us as a ball club. But after the All-Star break, we just came together and said, hey, you know what? It's not even about that. I'm here to make my teammates better. Shaq, I know you're going to post up and get that post position. We're going to feed you the ball. Let's just take it from there. Let's stop people and win.
And tonight, you said, this is it. We don't want to give them a chance. It's an important game for them. We're putting the hammer down.
Well, it's kind of a ruthless way to put it, but we absolutely want to cut their hearts out. Absolutely.
And silence their cowbells.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, thanks a lot, Kobe. Let's go over to Kevin.
All right, Craig, thank you. If he and Shaq continue, they could engrave their names in NBA postseason history. Look at this. All those great names in there. Dominant duos in the history of NBA playoff basketball. And those numbers include tonight's performances. 103-81 is the final score. John Thompson, Danny Ainge, Craig Sager, our producer Mike Burks, and director Lonnie Dale. Kevin Harlan saying goodnight from Sacramento. Special thanks to Dennis Stone, Catherine Zawicki, and Pat McGrath. After a quick break, Ernie Johnson, the Jet, and Charles, along with Ron Strickland, will get you caught up on all of tonight's playoff action on Inside the NBA. Good night from the capital of California.